Welcome to another edition of Biblical Errancy Commentary, the series that takes a critical look at Scripture, pointing out its numerous errors, contradictions, and fallacies. This program teaches a kind of Sunday school in reverse by giving you the biblical information that you should have heard but didn't. With millions of Americans hearing a totally one-sided presentation of the Bible, balance is greatly needed. Only when people are given both sides of an issue can a truly objective analysis be possible. And here to provide the alternative perspective is the editor of Biblical Errancy newsletter, Mr. Dennis McKenzie.
Welcome to the 86th edition of Biblical Errancy Commentary. We're pleased you've joined us. A series of commentaries supplementing information in earlier programs showing how the Bible has been twisted by other parts of Scripture. Generally speaking, these distortions fall into the three broad categories of misquotations, misinterpretations, and non-quotes. Since we've already provided some examples of each in prior programs, we'll only mention some that have not been discussed. We'll begin with an exposure of some prime misquotations, most of which are good examples of bibicists scouring the Old Testament for any verses that could possibly be twisted in such a manner as to be applied to Jesus. First, Matthew 3:3 says, "This is he who was spoken of by the prophet Isaiah, saying, the voice of one crying in the wilderness, prepare the way of the Lord, make his paths straight." Unquote. This is an inaccurate translation of Isaiah 43, which says, "A voice cries, in the wilderness prepare the way of the Lord, and make straight in the desert a highway for our God." Unquote. The differences are A, nothing is said in Isaiah about one crying in the wilderness. B, the present tense verb cries shows Isaiah is not making a prophecy, but is only speaking about someone living when he lived, a contemporary. And C, Matthew has paths, plural, while Isaiah has a highway, singular. Second, Matthew 11:10, which says, quote, "This is he of whom it is written, Behold, I send my messenger before thy face, who shall prepare thy way before thee," unquote. This misquotes Isaiah 3:1, which says, "Behold, I will send my messenger, and he shall prepare the way before me," unquote. Several conflicts are evident. A, in much of the Bible, it is unclear as to whom many of the pronouns refer, and there is little reason to believe that the messenger of Malachi refers to Jesus or John the Baptist. B, the Old Testament says, "Thy way before me," not "the way before thee." C, Malachi 3:1 says, "will send," that's future tense, rather than send. D, Jesus created the phrase "before thy face" out of nothing, because it doesn't even exist in Malachi. And E, the coming of Jesus was always spoken of as a time of happiness and joy. Yet that is not the picture that's given of the coming of the Lord in Malachi 4:1, which says, "Behold, the day cometh, that shall burn as an oven, and all the proud, yea, and all that do wickedly, shall be stubble," unquote. Or what's stated in Malachi 4:5, quote, "I will send you Elijah the prophet before the great and terrible day of the Lord comes," unquote. Here, the day of the Lord is a scene of fear and terror, like the day of judgment. How then could the scene in Malachi be referring to the birth of Jesus, as some allege? The evidence suggests that Malachi 3:1 is not a prediction of Jesus or John the Baptist. Third, Matthew 12:17-21 says, that it might be fulfilled which was spoken by Isaiah the prophet, saying, Behold my servant whom I have chosen, my beloved, in whom my soul is well pleased. I will put my spirit upon him, and he shall show judgment to the Gentiles. He shall not strive nor cry, neither shall any man hear his voice in the streets. A bruised reed shall he not break, and smoking flax shall he not quench, till he sends forth judgment to victory. And in his name shall the Gentiles trust. Unquote. Matthew's quotation represents an attempt to apply Isaiah 42, 1-4 to Jesus. But actually, the latter says, quote, Behold my servant whom I uphold, mine elect in whom my soul delights. I have put my spirit upon him. He shall bring forth judgment to the Gentiles. He shall not cry, nor lift up, nor cause his voice to be heard in the street. A bruised reed shall he not break, and the smoking flax shall he not quench. He shall bring forth judgment to truth. He shall not fail nor be discouraged till he has set judgment in the earth, and the isles shall wait for his law. Unquote. Matthew's quotation represents a major distortion of Isaiah for many reasons. Isaiah says, have put, that's past tense, rather than will put, future tense, showing it's referring to someone prior to Isaiah. B, not strive, isn't even in Isaiah. C, nor lift up is in Isaiah, but it's not in Matthew. D, streets in Matthew is street, singular, in Isaiah. E, victory in Matthew is truth in Isaiah. F, there's no conditional till, T-I-L-L, in Isaiah. G, in his name shall the Gentiles trust, is not in Isaiah. And H, apparently as a concession to reality, Matthew omitted the statement, he shall not fail nor be discouraged till he has set judgment in the earth, and the isles shall wait for his law. Unquote. Fourth, Matthew 13:35 says, that it might be fulfilled which was spoken by the prophet, saying, I will open my mouth in parables. I will utter things which have been kept secret since the foundation of the world. Unquote. It's an inaccurate portrayal of Psalm 78, 2-3, which says, I will open my mouth in a parable, not parables. I will utter dark sayings of old, which we have heard and known, and our fathers have told us. Unquote. The contrasts are A, Psalm 78 says nothing about things which have been kept secret since the world began. It only says they were dark sayings of old. These sayings refer to old sayings, not things which have been kept secret. B, the phrase, which we have heard and known, and our fathers have told us, in Psalm 78, is the opposite of being kept secret in Matthew 13. And C, Psalm 78 says a parable, which I mentioned, while Matthew says parables. Fifth, Luke 4:17-21 says, there was delivered to him, that is to Jesus, the book of the prophet Isaiah. And when he opened the book, he found where it was written, the Spirit of the Lord is upon me, because he has anointed me to preach the gospel to the poor. He sent me to heal the brokenhearted, to preach deliverance to the captives, and the recovering of sight to the blind, and to set at liberty those who are bruised,